Hi. Sorry, I am late.
Well, it happens.
How's everybody doing?
It happens.
Hey,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect.
Can hear you.
Oh. Holy crap. Yeah, this was like down to the wire. I had an electrician here doing some work. I looked down at the clock and I was like, oh shit, I gotta go. Oh man. So what's been happening?
Not a lot.
Just cleaning up and moving some stuff. Other than that, not much.
Same.
Other than the fact that it's hot outside and having a tough time staying cool. So
Yeah, I hear you. That's why my AC's running and I've got background noise on my stuff and I don't really care.
I've got my one fan going, and the room that I'm in, it doesn't start getting sun for about another 2 hours, and then it'll go hot as hell. So.
Right.
But till then, I'll be okay.
Shoot, yeah.
Well, I'm on the upper floor, so I'm burning alive.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, that's no fun.
Yeah.
Oh, hell no. Oh, man. Oh, Star Wars guys, Eddie Gannon, Connor Fuller, welcome, welcome, welcome. We have no plan today. This is just getting together and just talking about stuff. And
Nice.
I had a couple of things that I wanted to go over, but right now they elude me. Because I'm still kind of rushed. So,
Mama said there'd be days like that, so don't worry about it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I know my mic was messed up the other day because my XLR cable was screwed up. How does it sound?
It
Sound
sounds
good?
good.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, the other day it was going... It was crackling
Yeah.
and sounding all kinds of bad.
Static in line, shorting out. Yeah, that's no fun. What can you do other than what you've done? Which is
Yeah.
fix it.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, crap. What is that? Oh. It's a new shirt. I didn't pull all the tags off of it yet. Oh. Officially licensed by Nintendo. That'll go on my side of my computer.
Well, there you go. I don't know if you're officially licensed by Nintendo. That means they can come and hijack your channel and shut you down.
Oh. But then, I'll just plead my case to Shigeru. Oh, please, Shigeru, do not shut me down.
Unfortunately, it's not his choice. It's now. There's been too many YouTube people that have had issues with strikes from Nintendo for very innocuous things, and
Right.
as much as I may like Nintendo, nah, I won't deal with it.
They're brutal, right? I mean, just
They're extremely brutal.
yeah.
Yeah, they are. They're as bad as Sony. They can both, long walk, short pier. So
Yeah.
I can't stand either of them. They both drive me crazy. But yeah,
That they do. That they do. I did see something yesterday. Let me look it up. Damn it. I can't type. Ah. There we go.
Yeah, I was commenting to Strike Daryl. It's like, are we the famous YouTubers? Wow, this is like I'm never on camera and I'm famous all of a sudden.
Hell yeah, man.
That's great.
That's it. Did y'all hear about Facebook wanting to use a Pink Floyd song for their ad for, what was it, Instagram?
No,
it was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And say, I thought I saw a quick blurb, but didn't he tell them to go bite off?
Oh, yes. Most
Oh, good.
eloquently.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he basically told him to F off and you're, well, here, I'll just share my screen.
Yeah, let's see this. Because anytime someone tells a big tech company to go bite off, it's a good day.
Oh, yeah. Close you.
Okay. Roger Waters did that. Okay.
Yeah. And, right there.
that sounds like something he would say.
That's why I love this man. And
No,
this,
he didn't want to become another brick in the Facebook wall, so I
Yep.
can't say I blame him.
He didn't want to be party to that. What's up, Jedi Bill? Welcome. Welcome, Solanic. Or Solanic. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm terrible. But yeah, he basically told him to screw up and trying to find where he called Zuckerberg something. Ba, 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 ba.
Let's see.
Just seeing all this stuff, just, oh my God. Yeah, right here. This paragraph right here. That
All right.
one, that is glorious.
Well, he's not exactly wrong. You know, the facts have to be faced. Zuckerberg is a prick.
Oh yeah.
So
He's
the only
a
reason
rich-
why he
very
gets the
rich-
time of day is because he's got money.
Yeah, I was going to
Yes.
say, he's a very rich prick, but he's a prick all the same.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you know what happens to these super duper billionaire types once age starts to set in. Half. They'll lose half.
Oh yeah.
And I don't, you know, that's one way to make your money. I won't say one thing good or bad about it, but you know, there's a part of me that's like, yeah, it serves you right if you're like Zuckerberg, a prick.
Exactly.
They all have it. Pink Floyd was just enjoying the Matrix. I'm gonna say, if back in the day, you know, in the 70s and 60s, 70s, with them playing, you're probably tripping bear balls with it and going into the Matrix through an alternative method.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Though I agree with Connor on this one.
Yeah, there
Welcome
you
to the
go.
Machine would have been suitable.
yeah, that's definitely more
Oh,
of the Facebook
dude.
ethos.
My heart. Thank you.
So what do you think? Should we talk Bad Batch, or is Bad Batch all talked out?
No,
Y'all can go ahead. I haven't
not
seen it yet.
after.
Oh, wait. No,
I actually
Not
did
after
watch
this
that
episode.
episode. I've seen the first one and I've seen the most recent one. I have not seen the in between. But as far as the show goes, yeah, I thought it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, for 25-ish minute episodes of an animated series, I mean, not expecting live action, we're not expecting live action quality, right? I mean, I've been very happy with it.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Let's see.
Thanks, Simple Man. That's great. Wonderful.
Yeah, y'all can talk this latest episode because I have not seen it yet.
Oh,
And
okay.
spoil it. I don't care. I mean, I'll watch it anyway.
So, I mean,
I do see the. I saw a couple of thumbnails showing Crosshair, so I'm pretty sure he's back in this episode.
Yeah, so Crosshair is back, and
Which is
and
good.
things transpire such that he gets injured, right? So now there's a question about whether or not he can continue to be Crosshair in the future, right? Because something happens and something comes into his eyes, right? And so now there's a lot of speculation about the Empire being who they are, right? His usefulness is sort of at an end. So does that precipitate his reuniting with the crew and perhaps getting the chip out, or what happens to him now? That took a turn that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, he
But
did
that
get
wasn't
messed
the
up
biggest
pretty
turn.
good.
That wasn't the biggest thing I wasn't expecting in the episode.
Yeah, right.
That was an interesting for me development in the plot. So I think there's probably people in the chat who haven't seen it either. So I'm a little hesitant to spoil it for. I'm a little hesitant to spoil it for everyone else because I think the moment I'm not mentioning is worth seeing for the first time. So
I'm
maybe
hiding my face in shame.
So maybe we should change topics, unless we just want to talk generally about the show.
I thought it was a good episode.
Yeah,
You know,
Yes.
I haven't seen any of the others, but from what I've heard, this one seems to have a cut above. But yeah, he's Crosshair is definitely going to have an issue, and hopefully, he either gets the chip out or basically stops being a weenie. So, we'll see.
Well, and if the thanks, Solonic. If the leaks for the July episode titles are to be believed, the series seems to culminate in the elimination of the cloning program, right? I think the last episode is called War Mantle. Not sure. That's not really a spoil. I think we were all expecting that. So I
Yeah.
think for the rest of the episodes, we'll get, for me, a treat on what happens with the Empire and how things get from, we're thinking about better clones and how we can use them to going the conscription route. So to me, that part of the story is very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna say, sounds like one way or the other you'll get your wish, and as was discussed in other places, you don't hear about Camino or that in the expanded or in the existing canon.
Mm,
So
right.
one of the thought processes was Camino gets wiped out, completely and utterly wiped out.
I think
We'll see.
I think for me, I can go with that theory personally, but I will say it leaves the whole introduction of Dr. Pershing in The Mandalorian, right, wearing the Kaminoan patch and ostensibly being related to the cloners. It leaves, obviously he's not Kaminoan, I mean, we can tell that.
Yeah.
But so does it just mean the Empire continued their program under their own personnel? Or do we still have more to that story that is transpiring? And I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the Empire is all about like using all of its advantages. So, I mean, a cloning facility is not something that you would probably like want to destroy just for the sake of, I don't know, the Kaminoans not being that useful anymore. But I mean, how in any way how is how they're going to go, which route they're going to go. I mean, cloning is it is a very useful thing. I mean,
yeah.
so it would make sense why they would just like take over completely.
Well, there's one thing that we've got to take in consideration, and that's the xenophobic nature of the Empire. Even though the Caminos are making human clones, they're still not human. And yeah, if it's looking like Tarkin's gonna say, "Your days are done. You are the weakest link. Goodbye," and just shovel them off of the galactic map. If I had to guess, that would be the guess that I would do.
I think there's been a tease, right, from the composer of the music or someone who's been involved with seeing the latter episodes that something very tragic happens towards the end of the series. And I think over and above what happens to the facility and why we don't see that later, there are a hell of a lot of clones around, and we don't see them again. We don't see the clones again either, right? Once the stormtroopers make an appearance, so where do they all go? Right? Is there some mass event that takes them out of the picture? I mean, some of them we see later in Rebels and other places, right? But not to any quantity. I mean, there are a lot of clones at this point.
Yeah, that's true. There's still a lot of them out there.
Right.
It's possible. And I say, from looking at it from the first show, it looked like most of them, if not all of them, were recalled to the planet. And if that's the case, then if you don't see clones anytime after that, then it would make sense that the place gets completely and utterly bombarded, and that would be one way to force conscription, because you no longer have the clone army to back you.
Well, I think from an Empire standpoint, right, the conscription program, in addition to building up the ranks of the Army and the Navy and all that, I mean, it offered jobs, right? I mean, there is a socio-economical and political reason why conscription worked well in their favor, right? Because people needed things to do, right? Like, and you know, so, you know, there's a lot of behind the scenes that, to me, it's very interesting over and above just they need soldiers to keep order, right? I think people were really motivated to serve in the Imperial Armed Forces because it gave them pay, it gave them a sense of belonging, and so it was just interesting to me, because all we see is a bunch of guys in white armor shooting at things, right? But there was a whole lot more going on there, you know, behind the scenes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right. And I mean, we even see that like with Luke and also in Solo with Han. Like they wanted to join, or Han temporarily even joined the Empire in the pilot program. So I mean, Luke, like at the start of A New Hope, also talked about, yeah, I want to join the Academy. So I mean, it did really like stand for hope and like jobs and like especially I think in the Outer Rim with like civilization being all around pretty poor. Um, like the Empire's way of like having a lot of soldiers because like well it kind of made a sense of like loyalty and they kind of with that they didn't really have the danger of like too many people thinking too negatively about the Empire.
And it was a good way to get off world.
Right.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that all evolves, or how they fade out the clones, but time will tell. They've got 8 more episodes to finish their story.
Yeah, and I think Solonic brings up a good point in the chat, right? I mean, continuing to rely on other people to provide you your army, right? And not really understanding the extent to which they might control that army and if needed is a dangerous proposition, right? One would think that if they had those, they have those inhibitor chips in, if I was the one who created that army, I would have a kill switch, right? Or something that redirected those clones to my benefit if worse comes to worse. That's why I'm afraid the tragedy as we move through the end of the series could be annihilating all of those clones in the facility and everything in one fell swoop.
And that does make sense, that they would have some sort of override to everything, even an override to Order 66, that they themselves could trigger if they felt that they were betrayed. So that's entirely logical, and that we'll see. We'll see if they trigger something, and then Tarkin decides enough's enough and orders the bombardment, or what will happen. But I think I'll be able to watch the shows from here on out. As I said, everything I've heard from the previous ones were just more or less just fluff or filler, and it's like, nah, I don't need that. But this episode was a good episode. I did enjoy it.
Yeah,
well,
the last one was already great too. So,
does anyone else think it's weird that the only Kaminoans we ever see is the Prime Minister and the head medical gal? We've never seen anyone. All the other people we've seen walking around that facility are clones.
That's true. There are only the two that you
Well, yeah, I think we've only seen 3 named Kaminoans. I think especially like in the episodes of like Fives discovering Order 66, we see a few like random Kaminoans. But yeah, otherwise I think we've never interacted with any other.
It's just interesting to me. So. What about live action? What other shows are we all looking forward to?
Oh, not Loki. That's for damn sure. That thing is a joke.
I like Loki, so I'll be quiet.
No.
I like it.
I mean, I'm not that into the comics, so I think I don't understand half of it, even though I watched all the movies. But
well, you're probably better for it.
I'm in the same boat, right? So I think Brandon, the issue is for the folks that are really grounded in Loki's backstory and the way in which the comics laid all that out. I think we're suffering from Feige's declaration that he's not bound by the comics and he's going to do it the way he wants to do it or whatever to make good entertainment, right? And so for me, just watching the show at face value, with Wilson and Hiddleston interacting, I found that to be very enjoyable. But again, I have no basis from a story to be pissed off because it isn't his story like some others I know of.
Let me put it this way. My wife is absolutely not a comic book person. She's watched most of the stuff. She mostly does it for just having some background noise. She watched the first episode without me, and she said, I've watched Loki, and it was an absolute dumpster fire. She thought it was terrible, and she's normally pretty forgiving on things, but even she didn't like it. And the one thing that she told me, and I think I've made mention of this before, have any of you seen Gravity Falls?
I've not.
Okay. In Gravity Falls, their Dipper and his sister Mabel, they end up in some time traveling shenanigans, and then they end up having to go to combat in a basically an arena that's called Globnar, and the person that's in charge of base of time is a big gigantic time baby. And she asked me, when is Time Baby going to show up and try to fix that show? That's the type of vibe she got from it. It was just terrible. But if you do want to have a fun show to watch that doesn't take itself overly serious, that's one of those shows. Gravity Falls is one that my kids have watched quite extensively over and over. So it's only 2 seasons long, and it's funny. And then once you see that episode with it, then you'll understand.
Whoa.
Hey y'all, how are y'all doing?
Hey, Paul.
Oh.
Hey, Eddie.
Well, what happened to Richmond? What happened to Matt? We lost Matt.
Oh,
Did we
no.
kick him?
Yeah, that's weird.
No, he's gone. I was pulling Eddie and Paul in, and he
what's
just
up?
vanished.
Oh, man, that's no fun.
Oh no.
Oh, StreamYards, how we loathe these sometimes.
Yeah.
Dang
when
it,
I
Matt.
was
I'm
listening-
sorry. I didn't
was
hit
listening
nothing. I
back
didn't
to-
click on him. So, go ahead.
I was listening back to the stream that we did last night reviewing Tron, and my microphone was acting up again. I was glitching in and out, and I don't know whether or not that was an internet problem or whether or not that was a microphone problem.
Well, that was probably a microphone problem.
I hope not, because even though that is an old microphone, it's basically what I've got for now until after vacation's done and I can put money towards something like that again.
There he is. Hi,
There
welcome
he
back.
is.
Yeah,
There he is.
I have to use my work computer, and Teams decided all of a sudden it wanted to take everything over. So
I was accused of killing you, so.
no.
He was alive. I felt it.
Too early in the day for me to be dead yet. So we're
Oh.
I know what that's like.
But yeah, as far as live action stuff, there's not a whole ton out there that I'm looking forward to or will devote my time to. And actually, I've been devoting a lot of my time to catching up on anime series and movies that I haven't seen for forever or have wanted to see. And I've got a whole list that I gotta try and get through and then have a comparison with Lady Purple Valkyrie one of these days.
I'd say one of the
Yeah,
things
weren't
that
you
I'm
just
looking
on with
forward
her?
to.
Yeah, I was on with her yesterday.
Sorry, Paul.
It's all right. I'm still learning, the cues on here of when to talk and how to gauge when someone else is about to speak. But anyways, I'd say I'm definitely looking forward live action wise to Kenobi, looking forward to Ahsoka. And really that's about it live action wise.
There's still a ways off, though. Is there anything within the next few months that have caught your interest?
Not really.
Yeah, and that's the problem. There's too much space between reasonably good stuff and or great stuff, and we've basically just been shoveled the shovelware for the past year or so, with the exception of The Mandalorian. Even though it's got its issues, I thought it was great. I thoroughly enjoyed the
I
crap
loved
out
it.
of that. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know I was
I guess-
disconnected, but we don't think Andor's going to be good. Am I the only one who's excited?
Book of
about
Boba
Andor?
Fett?
It could be.
No, Boba Fett doesn't come out till
Oh,
the
I
end of
thought-
third quarter, fourth quarter. So we still have
okay.
we have
Yeah,
a dry
that's
spell.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a theory about that. Of why they promoted Book of Boba at the end of Mando.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
Because Favreau and Filoni knew something was coming down the pipe with Gina Carano. And knew Mando Season 3 was going to... A big old wrench was getting thrown into that because of the way Pedro Pascal was wanting more screen time with his face. And they had all that crap behind the scenes. And it was like, you know what? We'll just do Book of Boba first. and then Mando season 3.
I believe it.
Has series like have they shot the series of Pedro Pascal was shooting about the Last of
Oh.
Us?
I do not know. I think so.
Yeah, I don't think they've started yet.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, I
that
think
could
they've
that
started.
could play into it too, depending upon when that's shooting versus when Mando season 3 will shoot. But yeah, as it stands, yeah, I think don't they have Book of Boba Fett already done? They're just putting all the finishing touches on it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense. You know what you said. It lends credence to the possibility or the probability of it being that much higher. That yes, they had a feeling that some shenanigans was going to go down. So do it, and then hold the others for another time. But hopefully, maybe we'll get her back one day. But I don't hold out hope. If I was treated that bad by those people, there'd be no way I'd go back to the same company under the same management or same style of management. There's no way you could make me do it.
Absolutely.
I don't think she'll be back. And
Yeah,
I
and you'd
No,
be
didn't-
right.
but I don't think she'll be back.
Like, I
And
might
that's
remember
sad.
this wrong, but I think on one of Drunk 3PO streams, he said that she's already working on her own movie project or something, so it's definitely not going to be Mando in the near future or anything.
Was
It
it
couldn't be
Daily
anytime
Wire or something
soon.
like that?
I
Yeah,
don't really know what exactly, but...
She has a movie deal with no
What's his
fast
name?
talking guy.
And
Yeah,
Ben
Shapiro.
Shapiro.
Yeah, Ben Shapiro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are some times with that man that yes, he makes perfect sense. I like it when he does lay the smackdown, but he's got this cocky ass attitude that's just wrong.
Yeah.
And you can tell when he's trying to cover up for not being fully versed on something because he'll start speaking as fast as he can and he just makes himself sound so smart because of that. It drives me crazy. I can't stand the guy.
God, that sounded like the Micro Machines commercial.
Yeah, well, what's funny is that guy is still around, and actually, I found an old local news piece about him from the '80s where he was talking about how he got into it, why he got into it, or how he learned to speed read and speed talk. And the way he put it is, he had 7 sisters. If he didn't speak fast, he wouldn't get jack.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I know.
but it paid
So
off.
good.
It gave him a career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't he still hold the Guinness record for the fastest
Most
talker in
likely.
the world?
Oh yeah, he
Pretty
can.
sure.
The way that he put it, when they did the Guinness record,
That's better.
they had to run things. They had to run the tape faster so they could play it at normal speed and actually hear him say each and every word right. But it's an insane amount of words that he can speak
Yeah.
in a minute's time frame.
That's true.
It's just
I believe it.
no sex word. Well, that's a whole nother ball of wax and whole nother set of issues that go with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was amazing. The Micro
That's a
Machines
whole
guy is
nother
amazing.
toy section, if you know what I mean.
Say what you want about Shapiro and all that. I'm just super curious and excited.
Wise words
what
from
her
Connor.
movie is.
It will be interesting to see how much money the Daily Wire film group or whatever they're calling it can pull together to give her to be able to do what she wants to do. And I don't, that from what I heard and from what I understand about her, that's ultimately what she wanted to do, was make something her own, either produce it, direct it, star in it, whatever, but have it be her own thing. That's an opportunity you can't pass up, whether it was in the works beforehand or if it was literally thrown together just on a, hey, you want to do this? Yeah, let's do this. Okay. Don't know. I doubt it was that quick of a decision because you just don't say, hey, let's make a movie. A few days after being canned from the mouse.
Yeah.
So that's a tough one. I want to see her back, but at the same time, I don't want her to go back to that same crappy situation.
Right.
Exactly.
I think
We'll
we
see what
all
happens
enjoyed the Cara Dune character, but I mean, honestly, like, I don't think I would go back either. I mean, pretty fucked up situation all in all.
Yeah, that it is.
Well, we'll see what happens in late October when allegedly Kathleen Kennedy's contract comes up. because there's still no news that she's renewed it yet.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's why I think they pushed Indy 5 into production sooner than they said, so they could go ahead and she can get her movie done before she goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Possible.
it'll take about how long for them to finish principal photography?
I think they projected like 2 months.
Okay. Well, that would be about the right time. Finish that up, start the post, and she doesn't have to be super involved with that. Or if she is, they could cordon her off from the rest of it. But
They can just bring her back as a consultant to finish it, right? I mean, I
Right.
think contractually there's lots of ways to get around that without renewing her as the president of everything, right? If she just wants to
Yeah.
finish her participation on that film.
Right.
So
Yeah, even though her contract runs out, she's still a producer on that movie beforehand,
Yeah.
so she's like grandfathered in.
Yep.
And she can still be involved with it afterwards.
yeah, that
Yeah,
she
and-
could.
And since it's probably or definitely going to be like, yeah, thank you, I had a fun time working with everyone. I mean, since it's going to be that way, that wouldn't be an issue with her just continuing to finish the movie. And yeah,
Yeah, but time will tell. Hopefully, some good sources will come out and start elaborating or filling in some of the blanks. But you know, the usual
I don't
grain of
know.
salt, as it said.
Yeah.
So
By the way, I don't know what just happened, but my whole webpage that I have StreamYard pulled up on just completely crashed and had to reload on it. So that's why I blipped out there for a second.
well,
And I was saying, man, everybody's just popping in and out today.
yeah, it's
like-
just one of them
Di-
days.
Digital
If you're-
whack-a-mole.
If you're out there in the south, I hear you're having some pretty fun weather.
yeah, I'm not glad for the people who are on the Gulf side, right? But I live in Northeast Florida, right? And so every time these things spin up, I'm like, oh shit, here we go again, right? But this one seems to be
Yeah.
going away from us. So I'm like, all right, I'll just take a little rain. That's fine.
Yeah, well, I'm in Idaho.
We're going to
and
be driving
right now.
right
We're
through the
baking
path
to
of that
death.
thing. We're going to be driving right through the path of that thing through North Carolina.
Yeah, I
I
saw
haven't
that.
even seen it. We've had so much rain
hopefully-
lately, I just stayed away from the weather.
Well, it'd be nice if I could get some rain up through here. We've been dry as a friggin' bone for most of the year, and normally in June we'll get a high desert plain, so about 42 to 4,400 feet above sea level. But where I'm at, we're surrounded by mountains. We normally don't get super hot or get up into the 90s or sustained 90s. Typically till the end of July, and then in August it's just hot as hell for forever. We've been 90 and 100 already in sustained 90s and upper 80s, and it has not been as fun.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
I wish we had a little more rain because I can already see my water bill. It's going to be atrocious. Yeah, it's bad. But
Okay, that stuff's way away from me. I'm over here. I'm just south of Fort Worth, Texas. So,
Oh, okay. So
That
you're
stuff's
just
way
burning
off.
up too.
oh yeah, and
No
we still
rain,
got the
hot as
moisture in
hell.
the air from all the rains, and the ground's still wet. So it's like 95 degrees with 90% humidity. So yeah, it's fun.
That's what it feels like right now talking to you guys here in Virginia.
I was about to say you look like you're heating up pretty good there, Paul.
Yeah, but then again, being outside here is the only quiet place I can get to here at work.
Yeah, I thought
I
you were
feel
going
ya.
on vacation.
I don't leave till tomorrow afternoon.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Had I
okay.
known that, I'd have invited you last night to this. I thought you were
That's
leaving
okay,
today.
man. We had prior engagements last night with the legendary Tron.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, while I was watching that, I would have invited you to this today, but I thought y'all were leaving today, so I
Right.
didn't. So, I'm not a very good toast, but
That's all right.
Drink them if you got them.
oh, dude, I'm almost completely done with this water bottle.
Well, my poison of choice.
All that's hot.
Oh,
Yep.
that was terrible. My allergies. Let me try that again with a little assistance. Where is
But after the show yesterday, and after I got done with work, I started thinking about a few other shows that I'd remember seeing in a promo that was done by Manga Video that was on the original Ghost in the Shell DVD, and I finally found that clip on YouTube and found some more shows to dive into, and that are typically recommended. And I started watching one, and yeah, it's way the hell out there. It's good. But if you like anime, if you want to look into something different, look up Mad Bull 34. I'll just warn you though, it definitely comes from a different time and age in anime and in style and in the ultra violence. It is a show that you absolutely cannot watch with anybody else around you, lest you want to be looked at like you're a weirdo. No kids for sure. But yeah, I've got a lot to go through, and that's primarily what I'm going to try and focus on during the rest of the summer and during the week.
Suit ya. Oh, I'm just wanting to survive the summer.
Yeah.
Me too.
Especially moving into this back room of the house where it's naturally hot anyway, and I've just got a little window unit in here, so I'm going to have to figure something else out because it's not even scratched the surface on the heat yet.
Man. No. As I said, the room I've got doesn't start getting hot until later in the day.
Oh, hey,
Welcome,
buddy.
sir.
Ah, the Nerdporial is here. Welcome.
Yes.
So speaking of anime, right? I think
Hello there.
the rumor is we're going to have the Star Wars Vision show potentially in September, right? Aren't they supposed to announce that at some big anime conference, like right before July 4th? I think I heard, and then it seems like it might release September-ish. So in regards to what are they going to fill in between Bad Batch and Book of Boba, maybe it's that.
Could be.
Could be.
Now they got to
But
do
we
something.
know nothing about it right now.
Right. Yeah.
And I thought what I read or heard was it's going to be like a 30-minute teaser. It's going to be some significant teaser at this anime conference or streaming event or convention. I feel like it was July 3rd, but I know nothing about anime, so I'm just going by what I read somewhere or heard in someone's video. But so that should know more about that here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be nice. Hopefully they do have something up their sleeve to help fill in that void. Otherwise, they're just going to continue to have overall issues. And speaking of, did anybody catch Valiant Renegade's video from yesterday about a transition at Warner Brothers?
Mm-mm.
I have not seen it yet.
Okay. He basically went over who the new CEO of the combined Warner Brothers studio merging with Discovery is, and it's not any of the existing Warner Brother people. And the takeaway that I got from it is Discovery runs a very tight ship. Right now they have two different tiers for subscription. A $5 with ads and a $7 without ads. They only have about 15 million or so subscribers right now. Their average rate per user from people that are on the $5 tier is $6. So they're making more, making an extra dollar from that ads per user versus what the user themselves are paying in. Whereas Disney, right now on their tier, the one tier is only raking in $4 per person. So Disney's got a problem that they've got to figure out, and with that type of strategy in place, it's looking like that it's going to force the HBO Max part of the deal to adjust their strategy. But the other part that he said is the new CEO's main strategy is the movie studio is their top priority. It has to make money. So if that's truly the case, then there is hope that they will ditch all the stupid wokeness that's been plaguing a lot of their productions. And hopefully they'll be able to streamline it and have a decent amount of productions. And they're about to the point where they could become how Disney was this past decade, being the king. If it was a Disney movie, it made money. Whereas all the other ones were struggling for we're struggling for second place. So
Right.
they've got the properties, they've got talent. They just got to focus on making the money and getting rid of the people that are not willing to go along with that.
Yeah.
So there's hope that they could be better.
And by the way, Daryl, that weird crash happened again. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and bounce out.
All right, man.
All right,
It was
Paul.
great talking to you all.
Sorry you're having problems, man.
It's fine.
All right,
See you guys
well,
later.
all right.
All right.
Have a good vacation,
man.
brother.
We'll
Have
see
a
you.
good one.
You too. I'll try and be on the. If they do pop in tonight on Echo Base Network, I'll try and be there for that.
Yeah,
I hope to see you there, man.
I don't know what they're
All right,
doing,
see you
but
later.
I think R&B is going to be there, so I'm excited for that. What do we think about the resurgence of theaters and how much focus is going to be put back to making what we would have said before as blockbuster films, right? Versus really looking at bolstering up streaming services to try and capitalize on that. Do we have an opinion? Sure, we do.
Yeah, I do. If I may kick off first, I've had a lot of controversy. Like there's been a lot of controversy over it. Like because what the movie theaters are doing, they're just like instead of like as we all know because of the COVID, it's been closed down for a while. So like the instead of like getting as many people in as possible, like try and make their money back. What they're doing is they're just accepting cards, and like they're doing reservations on certain movies. It's crazy what's happening. Like, and it's like I just find it totally weird, you know, as to why they would do that instead of just saying let's pack them in and say let's go for it, you know, and get a few bob back, you know.
Well, for a theater to survive, or at least the big chain ones that are hopefully maybe eventually will decouple from the People's Republic of China and the illustrious Chinese Party or Communist Chinese Party. My local theaters, they've been open since last summer, but the majority of the stuff that they've been showing have either been indie shows, or they've been getting new, updated, remastered versions of classics. We saw The Goonies twice in the theaters. That came out when I was 5, and I never saw it, so it was a blast to go see that. But they've done like all the Harry Potter movies. They've done Indiana Jones. Right now, they're doing Top Gun. So that's one way for some of the smaller chains to help supplement, because it doesn't cost them nearly as much to get some of these older ones and play them, and then they can make their money off the popcorn. Or for a mid-sized one, the mid-sized one that we've got about 20 miles from here, when they opened up more fully, they were playing Godzilla vs. Kong, and we went and saw that in theaters, and that was fun. But yes, the Warner Brothers strategy of having everything on their streaming and in the theater at the same time has been a disaster. And as Valiant put it in the video, the new CEO coming in, people that are movie actors, they don't get into the movies to be shown on streaming. They want their product to be shown in the theater. And the biggest shift of the whole thing is going to be the exclusivity time frame. Instead of it being the 60 or 90 days that it was, it's looking like the new model is going to be 45 days for any new movie to be in the theater. Then after that, shift to the streaming, and then about 2 months after that, have a physical media release. That looks to be the way it's going to go. And the reason that it's looking that way is because of the movies that have been released simultaneously with HBO Max and in the theater. Godzilla vs. Kong was the first indication. They did make a killing, but at the same time how many streams they know how many times that movie's been streamed, and had they left it at a 30 to 45 day window, how many of those people would not have waited and went to the theater and seen it at full price. So there was a ton of money potentially left on the table that they basically let go. So the current CEO that made that decision, he's out. He is going to be out.
Yeah, I mean, up until the pandemic, I was one of the first subscribers to AMC's A-List, right, where you pay $20 a month and you can see 3 movies a week on any of their screens, and I used the hell out of that, right? Every Saturday, I was seeing movies, and I mean, they really built their subscribership up, right? And a lot of us were doing that, and then of course they put that on hold through July. It kept getting extended, and while I have been back to that theater several times actually, as it reopened, the experience was quite depressing, right? Because one movie I saw, I was literally only one in the theater. I think it was The Father or the Courier. They weren't happy movies. These indie movies that came out, they weren't the happiest themes, but they were great movies. And I thought to myself, holy shit, I didn't even pay anything for it because I had coupons accumulated from days gone by. So I'm sitting there in this theater all by myself, and I'm like, this is both weird and depressing, right? Because the movie going experience is seeing it with other people, right? Talking about how it was, commiserating before and after, and doing different things. And, we need to keep that going, and hopefully we do see folks returning, which I think there's some evidence of that, right? But people, the studios have to want to make the movies, and on your point, Brandon, they need to put them in the theater for a period of time that encourages folks to go back versus just sit around and wait for them to stream.
And they got to make a good quality product, and that's the one part that they've got to refigure out. And with one of the things that Cameron has said is, with riding a ship like this with Hollywood, it takes a while before the stuff that gets greenlit now that's not going to be focused on the woke or the crap before they actually come out. So time will tell. Unfortunately, for a lot of things, time has run out. But I will always support my local theater. My family, my wife and I, we know the owners. They're great people, and they were able to survive because they decided to sell their popcorn and their drinks and their deals, which for a theater is really good. They did that during the summer before they could reopen, so that saved them. And then the one 20 miles north of here, it's only a 7-plex, but they redid everything. They have really, really nice seats, and they have reserved seating. That's a huge one for me, because I don't like, it was fun when I was younger to, get in line, be with other people, talk nerdy to me and all that while waiting to go see the movie. I don't want to do that anymore. I'm too old for that shit. I don't want to do that.
I'm with you. The older I get, the more I want to be away from people.
Yeah.
Again, I think my biggest concern is the movies that'll be coming out here in the near term are all the ones that got delayed, right? So once those are shown, if people aren't actively making more movies to then get released after those, right? At some point you run out of things you've held, right? And it's the usual business around, how many other movies are in production now that people will care about to get released. Because looking at coming attractions, what I see over and over and over again is all the stuff that was supposed to come out last year. Okay, so is anyone making the stuff that's supposed to come out for the next year, right? Or do we get back in a situation where we run out of content? And I haven't heard many people talking about that. I'm sure someone is. It's just interesting to me, right, in regards to what is in production now versus what was held and needs to be, rolled back out because people are waiting on it.
Yeah, time will tell. We just gotta, I guess, try to be patient, and patience has always been a tough one for me to do. So we'll see.
Yeah, there's a lot of big movies coming out. I mean, they were supposed to be out this year, but it's going to be moved to next year. And one in particular that we haven't seen since the 80s. Most certainly is the Masters of the Universe. So that should be exciting to watch.
What do you think? What do you think, Eddie, about the cartoon that's coming? Right? Does Netflix has a cartoon also coming that's related to Masters of the Universe, right?
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Mark Hamill is voicing Skeletor in that series. I
Yes.
forget exactly when it comes out, but they've started advertising it now and putting aside some of the scuttlebutt about it's not really related, it's not really focused on He-Man, it's Tila and all. Let's just put it to the side and hope for the best in regards to how they read, because that's my childhood, right? That's my Saturday morning cartoon was, watching droids and looking at He-Man, right? So, I mean, I hope as they reboot some of these, like I said to someone the other day, it feels like they're rebooting my whole childhood, right? I hope as they do that, those of us who are still around and remember what it was all about are happy with what it's going to be in the future. There it is.
Yep. Yeah.
So
I know
Hopefully
the
it'll be good.
movie's going to be of the same name.
Yeah,
Tila's makeover.
I'm hoping it's good, but I don't hold out hope.
Yeah,
I
let me see
really
if they
don't.
got the picture of Tila.
I mean, I thought
There's
they
the
I
old
thought they
pictures.
I thought they did a good job with Transformers, right? But it's very hard to ruin a Transformers animated show, right? We can put the movies to the side, although I enjoyed those very much too. And
There
I've
it
been
is.
very impressed with Transformers reboot, so let's see what this is all about.
There's the new Tila and her gang who never missed Arm Day.
No, you're right.
That's a man, baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Lord.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
just-
I'm most likely just gonna pass on it. I'll see what everybody else says, and maybe I'll see it. But if I have to see it, I won't pay Netflix to see it. Let's just put it that way.
I'll give it a try. I won't force myself, right? But I'll give it a try. And if it's worth watching, I'll continue. And if it's not, I'll cry a few real tears and I'll move on, right? I mean, that's what I say. And every time I see them rebooting things that have a significance for me from days gone by, I just get really nervous, right? In regards to what it's going to look like and how it will or won't be representative of some of the stuff that we're used to, in the past, like, we've seen it with G.I. Joe live action, and now the Snake Eyes movie's coming, and people are shitting on that already before it's out. And again, these things from the '80s that they try and bring in today, some of it just doesn't fit, right? So
well, that's because they're not fans. They don't know the material.
Yeah.
They just come and say, "Oh yeah, I was a fan," and they're full of shit. They don't know nothing. Strike! Shut the hell up, dude. You're talking too much.
Yeah, I know. I'm talking too much.
Well, it's like with Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes, they can do whatever they want. I'm not going to see it, but I know what Snake Eyes is supposed to look like. I know his story. I know all of that. So I won't waste my time with it. I'm not super huge on Geeks and Gamers, other than Jeremy's political persuasion. But past that, he's kind of an asshole to me. So, but I'll agree with him on this. It looks like trash, and you just enough of the race swapping. Period. Enough of it. We don't need it.
Yeah.
Respect the lore. Damn it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Exactly.
well, the good thing about the AMCA list is you pay $20 a month, you go see the movie, you don't like it, you get up, go sit at the bar, you leave, right? You're not paying any more, paying any less, right? Other than you've used one of your slots. So I found myself going to things that I wouldn't normally have gone to. Some of them have worked out, some of them haven't. So I'll give Snake Eyes a try, right? I mean, and just see what it's all about. And like I say,
Well,
it's good.
the
I'll
worst
stay.
case-
Not good. I
Worst
won't.
case, you get entertained for a few hours, and if you don't think about it as a G.I. Joe show, hey, it might work. That's the thing that I think has really been detrimental to them. had they created some of these things or done some of the race swap things and called it a different show, it probably would have been fine because no one would have cared because you didn't have the lore behind it.
That is Snake Eyes.
Yes, that is Snake Eyes.
Not that bullshit.
Yeah, that's not Snake Eyes.
No.
That's somebody's, weirdo idea of Snake Eyes, but that's not Snake Eyes.
Yeah, it's like changing his nationality and whatever. It's like he has the mask on for a reason.
Yeah.
Well, that's
You
a
know?
significant, on your point, that's a significant part of Snake Eyes' story, right? I always remember
Exactly.
watching it as a child. What's under the mask? When are we going to see what's under the mask, right?
Right, and-
Same with Cobra Commander, right? What is under there?
Yeah, I mean, if you take that away, there's no mystery to the character, and it loses everything to me.
I was once a man. A man. I have seen
why
that
is it
movie
every
so
villain
many
is-
times as a kid. I could still remember most of it or how it goes. So
Why is it every villainous organization of my childhood was such nincompoops, right? I mean, they couldn't do anything, right?
no, they couldn't go too extreme with the violence. Otherwise, they couldn't have got it on Saturday morning TV at the time.
Yeah.
True enough. True
You know,
enough.
there was an interesting theory that I seen in a documentary there one time. It was like you were comparing Inspector Gadget, the claw,
Yep.
to the Cobra Commander from. So you were saying, like, the way he's stroking his pussy. And he was saying,
Well, in the case of Inspector Gadget, both Gadget and the Claw were both incompetent, right? I think Gadget was just luckier than Dr. Claw was, right? I mean, that's just the way that show went. So.
Yeah.
All I'll say is Don Adams. Don Adams was perfect. I grew up watching. What was it? Get Smart.
Get smart.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
having him be Inspector Gadget was it was so good.
The shoe phone, right? You
Yeah, the shoe phone.
Aerial phone, tugging on his shoe.
Chief,
know,
I
I
request the
told
cone
that
of
series.
silence.
Oh man.
absolutely love that series.
Yeah. There
Maxwell
was,
Smart in '99.
there was
Speaking-
one
speaking
question
of-
that I saw posted up on here about movies that we saw during the pandemic or classic movies. I went hog wild with westerns myself. Amazon has a ton of them. We watched The Man Who Shot Liberty Vance. That was great.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I dug into the westerns last year.
Oh yeah. Or I'm sorry. Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
Oh, yeah, I was big on the Quick and the Dead and like Unforgiven. Most of the Clint Eastwood movies, like Josie Wales and things like that.
Yeah, he did a bunch of them that were really good. Almost all of them were top notch. There's only a few of them that are kind of but
2 mules for Sister Sarah. That was one of my
although if I had to pick my favorite out of what I saw last year, A Man Named Nobody. It was a spaghetti western that had old man Henry Fonda in his old age, and the lead character on it was an Italian guy, but it was hilarious. It was good.
So, what's going on, Strike?
Yeah, I actually rewatched some older westerns too. I don't know, just watched a bunch of Clint Eastwood movies, and I think of the westerns, I don't know, it's something about Tombstone. It's probably like Val Kilmer's performance of Doc Holliday.
Absolutely.
I don't know, it's so good. It's so
I mean,
good,
okay.
and it just hits the right way.
I love Tombstone.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
real classic. Val
Yeah.
Kilmer.
Yeah, Tombstone's a good one.
Larry.
Tombstone is great. Unforgiven probably is the singular best. If I had to narrow it down to that, that one probably would be it. But it's also one of the harder ones to watch because of the character that's played, all the sins of his past, and then him having to basically redo it again, if for no other reason, just to get back home.
Right.
That's a tough one.
I don't know if that town is still standing in Ohio. Is it Ohio? Oh, I don't.
I don't know. I do not know.
I tell you, one of the shows I saw that they're remaking that I never thought they would remake is Fantasy Island. Fantasy Island is coming. And Fantasy Island, and of course, Tattoo is a beautiful gal. I forget who the actress is, right? But it's a beautiful gal is Tattoo, right? I don't know if
Really?
York is, but I did have to cringe a little bit in regards to the recast there. I'm sure there's all kinds of reasons why, but yeah, I think it's Fox or someone is bringing Fantasy Island back, and I'm like,
Wow. You can't replace.
You can't.
You can't replace Ricardo Montalban.
No.
Welcome to Fantasy Island.
Yeah.
Look, boss, dip lane.
Exactly. And it's like
You can't top that.
And the
Yeah.
little leprechaun himself as well. You can't beat him.
Who plays Mr. Rourke?
You might want to. My mom would say gargle it.
I'm
You might
on
wanna
goggle.
Gargle it, but I don't even know who's playing Tattoo. I just caught a blurb and I was like, is that Fantasy Island? And then it was like, Fantasy Island coming back on Fox. I'm like, first of all, are we out of new things to bring? The answer is yes. And second of all, who is asking for Fantasy Island back? Of all the things you could bring back, Fantasy Island? Really?
Oh.
That's when you know the well is
Damn.
finally empty.
Maybe
The original Fantasy Island wasn't bad, but
looking at Daryl's face, I'm sorry I brought it up.
Why? Why?
Who is it?
Oh, I've got to share this pain.
Oh no.
oh man.
Mr. Rourke is no longer Mr.
Oh, so maybe it wasn't Tattoo. This was the gal I was thinking of. So she's Rourke.
Yep.
So who's Tattoo? Does it say?
Don't
Oh,
know.
she's Mr. Rourke's daughter. Figures.
Oh, well, another show for Fox to have for a season, then flush down the crapper.
Yeah, it's like, okay, who's Tattoo going to be? Some little Puerto Rican with a pituitary disorder? Or?
August the 10th, so it's out. It's out soon.
It's only listing her. Oh, my
Oh
God.
well.
Just why? Why?
It's a summer. It's not that this
so
excuses it, right?
bad.
But it's a summer show, and they put these filler things on in the summer. And at this point, I feel like I'm the only one who still subscribes to cable. Anyway, I'm not even sure who they're making these shows for any longer because everyone just streams everything, right? So I don't.
Yeah, hell, if they redid this but redid it right, which if Japan, if Japan redid this, I know they would do it right.
Absolutely, because they know how to respect their lore.
Yes,
Star
And they
Blazers
did
is
it.
on my list of things to watch, although the usual places that I go to find things without having to fork over money, I haven't found it yet.
Well, I tell you this: you can watch just about every episode on YouTube for free
Ooh.
of the first season. There's a couple that are blocked because of BS. I don't know.
Yeah.
There was never anything untowards in that show because they played it on regular TV in the mid '80s, and that's when I watched it. But in 2010, Japan came out with Space Battleship Yamato.
Yep.
And that was the live-action version of Star Blazers, and it
Ooh.
was excellent. And it's for free on YouTube as well.
I think
Yes.
that Yamato show is one of R&B's favorite, right? Every time I'm watching him, every other episode he's bringing it up, right? And he has all the models and everything. I was like, wow.
Yeah, and we're on who is it? Phil, who's on Coach's ass about watching this.
Yeah, I was like, Phil track. As soon as you
Yep.
brought it up, I was like, is
Every
Phil here?
time.
I don't see Phil anywhere in the chat.
Every time. No, I'll have to give that one a try. And actually, I need to go. I told my daughter I'd take her and her cousins to the skating rink. So
No,
I
we're
need to
good.
go
I
do
just
that.
meant to keep this about an hour, and we are an hour 5 right now. So
all right. Well, gentlemen,
we
it was
heard.
good to see y'all. And
Good to see
Strike,
You?
Moff Risman.
yeah, thank you all for being here. I appreciate it very much, and I'd love to do this again sometime.
you. Yeah,
All right.
thanks for having us, Daryl. Really enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
Just let me know. I'll be more than happy to come on and spill my 2 cents for whatever that's worth.
Hell yeah, I'm gonna try and do the next one on a weeknight. That way we're not
Okay.
burning our free days.
Sounds good.
All
All
right.
right.
Catch
All
y'all
right.
later.
Y'all take care.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you very much.
We'll see you.
Bye.
Bye now.
Hello.